Hey, what's up? I'm Alex.
I'm Jack.
We are one half of All Time Low, the better looking half, and we're here chatting with Milky. We are very fortunate to have been a band now for 20 years and to still be making music that's connecting with people. You know, I think being back here in Australia after such a long time away, the last time we were here was 2018. So obviously a lot happened in the world since the last time we were here. And we've put out 2 albums through that period of time. So being here now feels really, really special and very rewarding because we're kind of making up for a lot of lost time, making up for 2 whole records worth of music, playing those songs live. And yeah, I mean, as far as the way it speaks to like a 20-year career, it's just, I feel so grateful that A, these are some of the biggest shows we've ever headlined over here, and B, we're playing for people who are coming for not just the old music, but also the new music and singing just as loudly to, you know, Monsters and Fake as Hell and Sleepwalking as they are for Dear Maria and Weightless. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I feel like basically all we ever wanted to do was tour the world nonstop, and like our records are just a vessel for that. And as long as we can keep touring, that's all we care about.
It's hard to pinpoint over the course of 20 years, but there are definitely moments that stand out. I mean, I think when we sort of graduated to playing, you know, we went from clubs to arenas or halls or things like that. That was like a moment. It kind of felt like it all sort of happened at once around the world. I think the UK kind of led the way, but then that sort of felt like it opened this door to us kind of achieving a different tier of I don't want to say success, but a different tier of like connection with our fans and just more fans. And I think, you know, that probably happened around, I would say like the second phase of this band's life. Like when we made records like Don't Panic and Future Hearts, like from there on, it felt like we sort of hit this next wave of our band's life.
Yeah, I think and earlier on in our career, I think that Fall Out Boy taking us on tour in the US was kind of the first time we had like a bigger band who was, in our minds, next level, kind of signing off on us and kind of stamping their name on backing and supporting us. And I think it did so much for our band to kind of pave the way for us becoming not just a small club act.
Yeah, and to that same tune, I think the Warped Tour was also pretty pivotal in the States. Like graduating and climbing the ranks in the Warped Tour was, I think, a pretty big thing for us back in the day. You know, I think it's really interesting what's happened with sort of this resurgence of the world that we came up in. I mean, whether you call it pop punk or emo or whatever people refer it to, like we never really saw ourselves specifically as any one genre of those bands, but we definitely came from that world. And I attribute a lot of that to the Warped Tour. And, you know, I think the first go round, it had its thing, it had its moment, it did its thing. And then like, I think we never really left that world. I mean, we sort of championed it and spearheaded it, even when it sort of maybe fell out of the mainstream a little bit. But we kind of stayed there at the forefront. And I think what was lucky about that is it really entrenched us in that world and in that the core of that following. So now that it's sort of had this second wave of even like a new generation getting into it and like being about what it's all about, but sort of redefining it in a lot of ways and modernizing it. I think it's really amazing that we still get to be a part of that conversation because obviously we were there for the first wave of it and now it feels almost new and improved through this new lens, new focus. And it's cool to see the new artists of this moment, like kind of championing it, spearheading it, like, you know, the Willows of the world and the Kenny Hooplas of the world. And, you know, the band Static Dress, like these new bands that are coming up with those very similar sounds, but kind of revolutionizing it and carrying it.
The way you said that reminds me of like, we were like the club was packed and we were dancing in the club. And then like half of the club kind of like left for a while. And then like, we just kept dancing in there. And then like years later, everyone kind of came back and like, we're still dancing in here. Like, yeah.
I think ultimately Tell Me I'm Alive is about, it's sort of like a meditation on loneliness and isolation. And, you know, obviously a lot of that did come from and was spurred by what we were all going through collectively through the pandemic and just being cut off from so much of what we were used to in life. It expanded into like a real meditation on you know, the ways that we cope, healthy and unhealthy, with loneliness and the things that we put ourselves through in order to feel something when we're at our lowest. And yeah, it's sort of, it became this kind of like character piece and a story about someone that's kind of going through that journey.
Well said, Alex.
Yeah, well, you know, we wrote it. So I have it on good authority to say. Specifically from Tell Me I'm Alive, I think for someone that's never heard our band before, you'd have to start off with Tell Me I'm Alive. It's sort of the title track, obviously, and sort of it sets the whole thing up. And I think there's a lot of all the different things that All Time Low has done over the years in one song. So that really encapsulates, like, if you're going to be into All Time Low, you're going to get this, at some point or another. I think from there, I'd probably say Sleepwalking would be a very important one. It was the first single that we put out from the record, and it felt like that was the song that, to us, like, defined the album. And then maybe it gets tricky with the third one because I want to go somewhere, like, obscure. What would you say?
I'd say maybe New Religion.
Sure.
Because it's a song that I think shows, like, what we can do outside of the norm All Time Low. I think it kind of pushes the limits of the things our band can do, and while still being All Time Low.
We're not just, like, I think so much of the ethos of, like, being a Warped Tour band is in our music always. And we've really carried that torch for a long time as far as, like, writing fast, loud music. And that will always exist in some form or another in our band. But I think, the longer we've done this and the more our tastes have kind of developed and changed in music, like, it's been very fun to kind of flex other muscles. And I think, yeah, you're right. New Religion on this record is like a very different feel for All Time Low. And yet it does feel like a very All Time Low song. I woke up with this mustache.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, like, I just feel like something happened when I got here. My side part went the other way because the water flushes the other way. I think that has something to do with it. And then I had a mustache all of a sudden.
One of my favorite things in the world is breakfast. And Australia, I feel like no one beats how you guys do brekkie here. It's something I dream about when I'm home. Like, I try to find somewhere that can do, like, a similar Australian breakfast.
When I was a kid growing up, I called it eggs and soldiers. But I think some people call it dippy eggs. But soft-boiled eggs with like the toast bits that you dip in, like, that is the fact that is a thing here takes me back to my childhood, and I'm here for it. And also the coffee is incredible.
I think that our live show, at least for me personally, I mean, I love listening to music, I love making records, but the reason why we started this band.
Really, name one song.
From ours?
Any song. You listen to music? Name one song.
Brain Stew by Green Day.
Oh, you do listen to music.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Pretty crazy.
I just wanted to make a joke.
No, like, I think that we never started this band to make albums. As much as we love making albums and as much as important that is to us, like, we started as essentially a garage band. Just playing covers and playing songs together. And so I think that that's literally kind of the ethos of this band, is just performing live together and playing songs, and everything else is just kind of icing on the cake.
Yeah, we've always, to your point, we've always played, you kind of said it earlier too, we've always played music to get on stage and go on tour and play for people. I think that's the most important aspect of music. I mean, obviously what it does for people as far as them connecting with songs and things, but I think coming together and celebrating those songs in a room is one of the most special things there is about music. So yeah, I think that's always been the driving.
It'd be pretty boring to not have the live show aspect of being in a band. Like, I feel like that's literally the point. And as we saw during the pandemic, like, it was very boring. So yeah. It's
like music's meant to be shared, it's feelings. So it's emotions and the way you connect them to memories and moments. And so I think to not get to share that with others kind of takes away a massive part of what music's all about. Foo Fighters,
Blink,
Green Day.
Post Malone.
I think Post Malone or Miley Cyrus. Oh, Jimmy Eat World Futures for me.
Take Off Your Pants and Jacket by Blink.
Oh my gosh.
American Pie 10 or whatever they're up to now.
I think you were on that soundtrack.
Yeah, it would be a house party.
Dang, I'm gonna say Bridesmaids.
2. Ooh. Did I leave the oven on?
It is actually, I know you didn't want explanations, but it is kind of problematic when like you're on stage and you like go down a thought trail and you're just like, I get lost sometimes being like, oh God, did I leave the laundry on? Is my stuff in the dryer still wet? Is it going to smell weird later? And then I forget the words to the song that I'm singing.
Miley. Brain stew. That was the first time I learned a song that I was like, fuck yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. For me, it'd probably be a little earlier than that. There's a British artist called Nick Kershaw, and there's a song called Wide Boy. And as a little kid, I remember being really into that song. First concert sorry, go ahead.
Blink and Green Day, Pop Disaster Tour.
The HF Festival, which was like a big radio rock festival in DC, where we grew up.
Blink and Green Day, Pop Disaster.
I'm going to go with one that was recent. It was Jimmy Eat World and Manchester Orchestra, and absolutely blew my mind. I had never seen Manchester live, and they were phenomenal. Spice Girl, all day.
Oh yeah, Spice Girl, for sure.
Shitty Spice.
Hungry Spice.
Yeah. I'm sticking with shithead Spice.
Ooh.
Wow.
I'm gonna do a throwback here and do Post Malone again.
Yeah, I was gonna say we hung out with Posty not that long ago, and he grabbed the guitar and started playing Therapy or Remembering Sunday, and I was like, damn, this song's better when Posty does it. So, we've never been to India
or Africa
or the Middle East, so I think it'd be really kind of cool to go and play in some of those places that we've never played before. Mm-hmm. Also never been to Korea, so going to Korea would be very cool. Thailand, never been to Thailand.
It's a vacation. Mine's Don't You Want Me Baby.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one. It's a good one for two people too,
yeah,
which is always fun.
And if I don't have two people, I'll just do the voice. I'll just do both voices.
Yeah. Amy Winehouse, Back to Black.
Nice.
We just did Red Rocks in the States.
Yeah.
It's just outside of Denver, and it's this incredible natural amphitheater. And it was the most tickets we've ever done in Denver. So it was really special. Maybe in the States.
In the States, yeah.
10, 11,000 people. It's crazy. Really special.
It's hard not to say Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Right now, like that.
I was gonna try and think back. I mean, like, damn.
Currently, Taylor Swift. In the past, it's got to be the Beatles.
For sure, Spirit. Like they definitely championed. They lifted a lot from a lot of other artists that came before them. But yeah, I mean, the way they kind of made it mainstream is pretty.
They created pop music.
Yeah, pretty massive. Music's everything in my mind. I built my life around it, so it's pretty huge.
I'm not that interested.
Name one song.
I can't even name. All I got is Brain Stew.
And I'm not sure I've even heard that.
Continue brushing your teeth, man. It's going well.
I would say maybe, hey, look at you. It kept getting better.
Still got the stash.
Still got it, huh? Still haven't shaved that?
Bloodhound Gang.
We have a song about the end of the world.
We do, but I was gonna say Bloodhound Gang.
Hello, Brooklyn.
Wait, what's the big Bloodhound Gang song?
What's it called?
Yeah, but it's not called.
What's it called? Is it called Bad Touch?
Bad Touch by.
That's what you pick?
Yeah.
That's what you're going with? I think I would go with like
Eiffel 65.
I'll Stop the World and Melt with You.
I'll Stop the World and Watch You Melt.
I don't know. I have all these photos of me as a little kid. Like one of the first Christmas gifts I ever wanted that I really remember asking for was like this Fisher Price like guitar microphone set. I'm probably like 5 or 4. I was like, so I think I was pretty into it all the way back then.
I remember watching Tom DeLonge play Anthem Part 2 for the first time, and I was like, yep, that's it. That's what I want to do.